Hello and welcome to Retro Americana. I'm your host, Jeremy Scott. Okay, today kids, we're going to travel back to a little year called 1956. On Guard is the short film we have for you tonight, today, whenever. This one deals with the computer technology in the Cold War and how it was on its way to just constantly making just advances left and right. And, you know, recent activities in the world of this whole nuclear arms race, or as our former president, George Bush, would have called it, nuclear arms race. Nuclear. Sorry, that was a bad George Bush impersonation, and I won't do it again. But the nuclear community is growing with such additions as Pakistan and North Korea and India. And I guess Iran is on the horizon if you're keeping up with current events. I did a lot of my growing in the 80s, and the Cold War was still prevalent then. There was always this feel of, boy, if the Russians attacked us, by God, they'd just gut us. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. If thankfully, it never happened. But in the 50s, it was at its height, I think, anyway. 50s and 60s, it was at its height. And the U.S. government, you know, aided to the fact, the public perception that it was a big deal because they put out films like this. And next week we're going to have, here's a preview of next week, we're going to have a similar nuclear-based short film. But I'll get to that one. It's funny, actually. It's one of those duck and cover type deals that I think you might know what I'm talking about. But, you know, folks, the government is a big part of scaring the crap out of the public as the actual opponent can be. So this was what was out there. This was what the U.S. government was releasing. I think part of it was to make us feel a little safer, but at the same time, they sure did like to stir the pot. So anyway, from 1956, On Guard, and don't go anywhere. When we come back from a commercial break, we're going to finish the film, and we'll have an artifact for you. So enjoy!
Protection comes high, sky high. Today, we must be on guard in the sky when it comes to protecting our resources. The national resources that are so precious to us. The offensive weapons of tomorrow are here today. Supersonic, super destructive, seemingly unresistible. To protect the future of America, the defense techniques of tomorrow had to be discovered now. They were discovered in electronics. That is how SAGE and bursting computers into military service. Electronics for combat use means new concepts, new tools, new weapons. You are listening to the heartbeat of the SAGE computer. Every instrument in this room is constantly monitoring, testing, pulse taking, controlling. For this is the programming and operations center for the SAGE computer which surrounds it. To it come continuous streams of data, which it continuously absorbs and stores on magnetic drums, tapes, and cores. Data from radar units, Texas towers, picket ships, early warning aircraft, ground observer corps, weather bureaus. To say nothing of up-to-the-minute data on all regularly scheduled commercial air flights. It also packs away information as to the number, location, and characteristics of all military craft, all anti-aircraft guns, all defensive missiles in the area. And this computer is on the job around the clock with 24-hour-a-day reliability. It is really two computers, but only one is operating the system. The other, with the same vast memory, performs as a slave, checking calculations and results, ready to take over in a matter of seconds should the master computer falter. All this is housed in one of the new headquarters of computer defense, one of the direction centers of what the Air Force calls SAGE. Beyond a fantastic capacity for calculation and memory, SAGE possesses the newest and most revolutionary advance in data processing, the display scope, a computer-generated visual display, on call as needed. Until SAGE, the miracle of the computer was its ability to calculate in split seconds and then provide printed information. But SAGE needed more than this. For the lightning shifts of air battle, the Air Force requested from IBM a computer capable of translating volumes of changing data into a continuous flow of interpretations, which could be understood at a glance. Air defense required split-second presentation as well as split-second calculation. Given this objective, IBM applied the latest extension of data processing, the display scope, a giant picture tube on which computer results are instantaneously and continuously translated into graphic images. In SAGE, airmen have the battle visualized for them on the computer-generated display. 2 floors above the great computers are the batteries of display scopes. Although they look like the offspring of a marriage between a television tube and a radar screen, display scopes do not show physical images transmitted from elsewhere. They display the results of the computer's findings. SAGE, with its display scope, also has one feature possessed by neither a television or radar screen. It has memory. In case of enemy air attack, not only can a clear picture of the changing air situation be displayed on the scope, but if the airman wishes to see how things got that way, the scope can recall any previous phase of the situation from the computer's memory. By analyzing the past, SAGE can project into the future. The computer can furnish information on the countermeasures available so that the officer in charge can make his choice as to when and where to fight. Once he has selected a plan of counterattack, the computer guides interceptors and missiles to the enemy. After encounter, the computer guides the interceptors back to their bases. Aladdin's lamp couldn't do more. What is the most precious commodity that electronics defense wins us? Time. Long before the bomber reaches our defense perimeter, the computer's memory will identify it as friendly. But if a flight of planes were identified as hostile, then, in a matter of minutes,